Hello and welcome to LangheProperty. I'm Richard Edwards. Now, I set about writing a script, a detailed explanation of the house buying process in Italy, and then when I came to film it, it was a little bit too long, so I decided to break it down into several parts. In fact, 10 parts, and I'm going to make this a video series. Today, what we're going to do is talk specifically about the mechanics of the house buying process. In upcoming videos, I'm going to talk about how to find a house, viewing etiquette, how to work with an agent, negotiating, how to get a mortgage, do you need a lawyer, choosing the right location, restoring houses, €1 houses, and after you buy. I'll also be featuring video tours of houses and discussing and explaining houses for sale in Piedmont. I've written a full, detailed, everything you need to know buyer's guide that I will release in PDF and EPUB, so stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll be releasing it in an upcoming video and it's free. So let's get straight into the buying process. Now, as you might know, I'm in Piedmont in the north of Italy, but the rules are the same throughout Italy. So if you're buying a house in Sicily, Tuscany, Puglia, Umbria, the rules are the same. Okay, so you've got your finances sorted, you know what you can afford and where. We'll deal with more of these things in future videos. You come to visit, find your perfect house, and you want to move ahead. What's the process? Well, the first thing you need to do is to get the house checked. So you've negotiated a good price and you want to move ahead. Now, in the past, people did whatever they wanted with their houses, more or less. So it's not uncommon for houses to have illegal parts that need to be put right. Now, this is the owner's responsibility to put right, but you need to do your due diligence and uncover any issues. Also check that the official plans called catastale correspond with the house. Maybe a storeroom is listed as being used as a bedroom. Now, that's kind of okay, but the owner can't sell it as a 4-bedroom house when it only really has 3. This needs to be reflected in the price. And look for bigger issues such as extra or extended buildings or roofs or converted loft spaces. It's far better to get it checked first before you pay a deposit. Well, in actual fact, it's essential. If there are serious issues, it can take a long time to sort out. For this, you need a geometer or an architect. The agent should be able to recommend someone for you. If you're buying in Piedmont, I can recommend good people to do this for you. You also want to negotiate well. I'll deal with this in a detailed upcoming video, and I promise it'll be one that can save you a fortune, so watch out for that one. What if you're buying a house with agricultural land? There's a law of preemption. If you're not a registered farmer, but the neighbours are, with bordering land, they have to be notified of the sale of the land. They have 30 days to buy it. The agent sends them a recorded letter notifying them that the land is being sold. And they might write and say, no, I don't want it, or just leave it, and then the right expires at the end of the 30-day period. This is really important to keep in mind, as some parts of land might be crucial to the value or the privacy of the property you're buying. One way to prevent this from happening is to overprice the land a little to make it expensive. The agent can advise you on this. So you've got this far and everything is fine. The price is agreed. The next part is the process of writing and signing an agreement called the compromesso. And this binds you into buying and the owners into selling to you at the agreed price and timeline. You don't have to be here in person to sign this contract. The document is prepared by the agent and it contains these things: details of the property, the land parcels, etc., name of the owners, name or names of the buyer, deposit amount to be paid and by when, usually it's within a couple of weeks, the date the deposit expires, the closing has to be before this date. You'll need one or two things. Firstly, you'll need a codice fiscale. Now, this is an Italian tax ID. It's easy enough to get and it doesn't sign you up to the Italian tax system, please no. It's just an ID code and everybody has one. The agent can help you get it and it's a good idea to get it when you're here. You'll need an Italian bank account too, but it's not crucial at this point. More on that in a moment. If you pull out of the sale or don't close in time, you lose your deposit. If the seller pulls out, they have to pay you back double. Typically, the deposit is paid within 10 days of the signing. The deed signing is usually within 2 to 3 months, but can be adjusted according to the agreement you have with the seller. The deposit is usually paid directly to the seller's bank account, and it's usually 10%. If you're not comfortable with this, it could be paid into a notary's escrow account, but be aware you have to pay a fee for that. Once his contract is complete, the agent registers it with a local tax office. The next step is handing over of the ownership, the signing of the deeds. The agent gets everything ready well beforehand, all the documentation. They're responsible for gathering these 5 documents and getting them to the notary. A date is agreed with all parties, the sellers, you, the notary and the agent. If you can't be present for the signing, someone else can sign for you. The deed has to be done in Italian, so if you don't speak good Italian, a translator has to sign for you and you delegate that person to sign on your behalf. They have to ensure that you understand the deed. This might cost around €1,000. At the signing, you pay the balance. This can be done through an Italian bank account if you had a chance to set one up, or you can send it to the notary beforehand into their escrow account. And this is safe and easy. You'll also have to pay the notary's fee and the purchase taxes at this point. We'll come back to costs in a moment. The process of signing takes less than an hour, then the house is yours and you're given the keys. If there's a mortgage outstanding on the property, this has to be settled. A bank representative will be there to get part of the payment from the seller's payment. So what's it going to cost you? The price of the house plus around 10% is a safe calculation, more or less. Let's make an example. For the sake of keeping it simple, let's say that house price has been negotiated to €500,000. On top of this, you have the agent's commission. This is usually 4%. Some charge 3%, some up to 6%, but on 500,000 we're talking €24,000 as there's 22% VAT to be added to that as well if it's 4% commission. This is paid on the first contract, the compromesso. Some agents will also take it on the final signing at the notary's office, but that's something you speak to the agent about. An independent survey will be something between €500 and €1,000. At the signing of the deed, you have to pay the notary and you also have to pay the taxes. And you can send a bank transfer in advance to do this. The taxes are calculated in what might seem an odd way. We need to go back in history a bit to understand why it's done the way it is. In the not too distant past, the taxes were calculated according to how much the house sold for. This was up to 16 years ago. 16 years, not 60. Can we have the colour back, please? There was a set percentage, but to pay less, buyers would push a large amount of cash under the table to the seller. The deed then showed a lower sum than what was really being paid. Maybe on a €500,000 house, 400,000 would be paid by cheque and 100,000 in cash. The government knew this was going on, so that they introduced a land registry value to every house and land, according to different factors. This means no matter if you got the house for €1 or €1 million, you pay more or less the same in taxes. And to get this figure, the agent asks the notary in advance to make the calculation. So well in advance, the agent will give you all of these costs. Now there are 2 levels of taxes. The first is called prima casa, or first house. If you're planning to get residency in the house within 18 months of the signing, you can pay taxes for prima casa. It's about half of what you pay if you don't intend to get residency. This is called seconda casa, or second house. If you pay taxes as a prima casa and don't get residency within an 18 months period, you're given a 2-year prison sentence and all your belongings are given to charity. Oh, okay, I'm only joking. You get a fine and you have to pay the balance on the taxes. Here's an example of all the costs. And that's about it. You'll need help with getting the bills changed over and some other matters, but we'll deal with that in a future video. You own a house in Italy. What a journey. Make it fun and accept that things aren't done in exactly the same way they're done back home and you'll be fine. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope it's been useful. My next video is going to be about how to find a house. There are lots of websites and different types of agents and tons of information, so we need to understand the best way to search. I've been here working in real estate for 20 years, so I have a lot to share with you. So please click subscribe and like. That really helps me to continue producing this content. And don't forget to check back for the release of my comprehensive Italy house buyer's guide. It will be released in about 3 weeks' time. and this is essential information if you're thinking of buying a home in Italy. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.